You may have heard of him, but he is an absolute legend doing some crazy things. Today, I am joined by Bad Piggy to tell us all about the drama going on in 1867. I'm joined by the one and only Bad Piggy. Say hello.
Hey, how's it going, Shappy? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Piggy. So I was watching some combat earlier. You shared your coordinates, and I have to tell you, man, you are a popular guy. I think I had 4 or 5 different people reach out to me saying, Shappy, you're doing this interview series, but there's this Bad Piggy guy who's doing some absolutely crazy stuff. So I had to reach out, and here we are. Piggy, tell us about you, dude. What's your story?
Well, I've played the game since 2018, and I've had kind of the same journey a lot of people have had. You go and you play the KVK one, the KVK two, and what are we on now? If you've been around that long, we're on what KVK eight, nine. Some of us. I mean, the game is kind of getting dull, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, I've had many instances where you may be in a kingdom and you know sometimes there's other things in life than this game, right? And one of my main passions in life is not this game. My actual passion in life is, well, first of all, my family. I'm married, have 2 kids, but other than that, my main hobby is poker. So I spend a lot of my time playing poker, and obviously that does not help out when I'm trying to, play in KVK or something. So, in some international KVKs, you may have fighting at random times like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and you may miss big fights in a KVK. So for me, the KVKs just, I mean, they were fun when you could get in there and fight, but for the most part, that whole method of playing just didn't really suit me. Uh, and I'm sure my stats, there are probably stat warriors out there that are like, oh, your stats are shit. Probably are. And I don't really care. I don't care what my stats are. I've, I've played the game to how I enjoy to play it. And that's how I've always played the game. So, uh, I'll let you ask some follow up questions, kind of how we got in the situation. But that's kind of the gist of it. The game was kind of getting dull, and I was put into a situation where I was forced to migrate
Okay.
by this king. His name was Gomez Jr. originally,
Okay.
and he basically he just blew me up one day, and he messaged all of my farm accounts. He's like over and over and over. It's like, you have to talk to me right now. And I was like, what the hell does this guy want? And it goes back to this KVK where we weren't all that involved in it. It seemed more like a farming KVK. The king actually sat in home kingdom the entire time in the same place. He never moved.
What?
He didn't do anything. I
Okay.
swear, he never entered KVK zone. He didn't
And
do
he
anything.
kicked
There
you
was
out of
no
the kingdom.
announcements. No, I was in KVK and I did some fighting. I mean, it was like a really boring KVK, right? Nobody really did anything. We lost. And yeah, there was some skirmishes here and there, and I was involved in some of it, but you know, after the KVK, I didn't understand when the king comes to me and he's like, "Hey, you got to get out of here. You need to migrate." And I was
Wow.
like, yeah." So he gave me 30 days and he's like, "You need to migrate." And I was just like thinking, well, I don't have to migrate if I don't want to migrate in my head. And I have a pretty stacked account, and I'm like, what's this guy going to do? This kingdom's dead. He didn't even participate in KVK. And I was kind of planning already that I'm not going to let this guy just make me migrate because, I mean, migrating $300, $600, I'm just not going to shell out that money just because some asshole told me so. So
Right.
I'm
And it's
thinking in the back of my
expensive,
head,
especially when you're that big of an account and you have that many accounts.
yeah. So I didn't feel like doing that. So I was like, I'm just gonna not migrate and see what he does. So and that's kind of what I was thinking in my head, but I hadn't pulled the trigger yet. I was actually just, biding my time because he gave me 30 days. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait and see what happens. Well, then comes the Mightiest Governor event. And I swear to you, this guy, the king, he went for first place. And I've never taken any Mightiest Governors in this kingdom prior to that. But I saw Gomez, the corrupt king, was pushing first place in the MGE. And I was like, how does this guy sit in home kingdom the entire time, doesn't do anything, and then thinks he deserves MGE afterwards?
Because he's the
And that
king.
just
Come
rubbed
on,
me the wrong.
Piggy.
That rubbed me the wrong way. So I stole the Mightiest Governor at the last minute with a bunch of training, and I passed him up. And he got so pissed. He blew me up, started cussing me out, and I just ignored him. And I'm like, okay, well, he's like, I'm going to zero you, boy. I was like, okay, come zero me. You're welcome to try. And that's how it kind of evolved from there. Um, I even gave him rope many times. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm willing. If you're saying you don't like my stats, or whatever, I'm willing to fight in KVK and show you.
Right.
I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I don't. Anyone who's been watching my videos, if you don't think I'm a fighter, you're crazy. But
Well, and your account
uh,
says you're a fighter. You got 24 million dead. I mean, sure, your kills aren't as high as some of those like crazy people who are like, oh, you need to have 15 billion kills if you're 136 million power. But like, your stats show you're a fighter.
yeah, and like I said earlier, I mean, stats to me don't really matter. I mean, a lot of these stats can be flubbed. I mean, if you look at my tier four stats, a lot of that is just from stealing Mightiest Governors. Um, this footage coming out, it hasn't come out yet, but I'll give you a little insight, and your viewers will get a little sneak preview. We had a Mightiest Governor here, and let's see if the stats are still available. The first place score was 481 million points in the last Mightiest Governor.
Jeez, is that the one you sent me
Second
the picture
place,
of that you were pushing?
maybe I don't know when you saw the picture, but second place 430 million, third
Oh
place
my god.
192 million.
That is an
So
expensive Mightiest Governor event. Didn't you say it was for like Gorgo?
yeah, I think I told you I wasn't going to push for it, and I was
You
probably
did.
sitting
You're
at
like,
like
I'm not going to
100.
push for it. It's not worth it. Clearly that
Hey, you don't know
changed.
which of those scores is mine, right? There was another guy in the mix, and the drama is just out of control. I don't know. Do you want me to drop the mic here about what happened, or do you want to wait for the video?
This is the video. Give me the tea.
This is it. All right,
Piggy,
man.
I
I'll
am
give you the
I am
details, but I'm
headlining this thumbnail with drama with Bad Piggy.
all right. All right. It's because it was insane. Like the whole weekend, I had family over at my house, and I was like, I'm not going to play the game. If anything happens, I'll just bubble because I need to pay attention to my family. Well, this guy out of nowhere, his name's Yonko, started pushing hard on Mightiest Governor, like hard. Everyone was feeding him. It was insane. Well, little do they know that I have a farm account that I've just never done anything with. It's just sitting there accumulating. It had so many resources unopened, so many speed ups, insane. I don't even know the total amount of speed ups. Like it just boggles my mind. I probably could have put another 400 million points up there on the total, but they didn't know this. So there was another guy in the mix, Kratos. And if you happen to notice today, Kratos was fighting on my side, but originally he was
I
on their
did see
side.
that actually. He's in your alliance now.
He is. So he messages me. He's like, hey, can you stop pushing MGE? Because I really want Gorgo. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, but what's in it for me? He's like, I'll let you and your friends into zone three because I'm R4 of the main alliance. And
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, that's interesting. But I was like, dude, you're already in zone three. Why don't you just go rogue? Because there's like 150 farm accounts in zone three. He could just swarm zero so many and just get hundreds and hundreds of millions of easy kills. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. But I also want you guys to come in there too. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like, and he snuck us into their Discord too. So he invited all of us into their Discord.
Oh my
And
god,
we
what?
we kind of thought he was full of shit though, because we're like, this has got to be a trap, right? So he's buying his time. He's kind of pushing points too, and Yanko's pushing points. I'm having to push points to keep up. I'm busy with family, but I'm, here and there sneaking my phone out. And I have a real cool method to farm kill to where, how they'll like put a rally on your city so they know where you are and then chase you around.
Yeah.
Well, there's a secret you can do where you put your march in another farm. And so you have two bubbled farms, one with your march in it and the other one that's feeding it. And you can port those two bubbled cities to a random place and good luck finding it, right? It'll take them forever. And if they do find it, you just port them somewhere else. And, they'll have to play Where's Waldo for 2 days. And anyway, they eventually give up searching for you because it's so difficult. So I just am like feeding away, feeding away. And I get a pretty sizable lead. I got like 100 mil point lead after I talked to you. I'm like,
Hmm.
that's pretty safe, right? They
Now,
pushed another 150. They pushed 50 more mil above me to like 250 mil, and I was at like 200.
oh
And
God.
yeah, and that was at the end of kill event. So then the fifth day comes, you get reduced points, but I was just like, screw this guy, I'm going all in because partly not because I want Gorgo, but because this is economic warfare right here. Do you know how much resources and speed ups it takes to feed a guy for mightiest governor, especially at that level?
Oh yeah, no,
I mean,
feeding is way more difficult than it is to just go around killing farms, for sure.
yeah, and like today, you saw them trying to zero me. Yeah, they lost a lot of troops, but I think me pushing mightiest governor real hard and them trying to chase me drained them so hard. Like I'm sure every single one of the guys' farms was drained. All his speed ups were drained. All the people that were feeding him, they got full hospitals. Probably had to heal a bunch, so all their healing speed ups drained. I mean, the cost upon this kingdom to try and chase that mightiest governor was astronomical, and I think I did a lot of damage to him. But I just went all in. I'm like, this guy has no idea how many speed ups I have on this account. So
Right.
I
And
just
you
went
and you have
crazy.
and you have nothing to lose because as you said, right? Like KVKs whatever, you've been playing the game for a long time and at this point you just want to have some fun.
Yeah, and I mean, at first it's kind of boring being rogue, right? There's two ways to be rogue. You can be like a low power rogue that just has enough troops to fill his hospital, and you can kind of, annoy them, right? Or you can be a total whale and they can't zero you. That's what I'm aiming for, right? I
Right.
want to be able to do whatever I want, and they can't do anything about it. And you saw that today when they tried rallying my city twice and gave up.
Oh yeah,
I
I just
mean,
I
they
just
didn't even
showed the reports on here.
yeah, they didn't even reinforce their rally. Like they don't know what they're doing. So I'm in a kingdom that's incompetent, and it's just content for YouTube. But at the time, I was just by myself. I was having fun, like going into KVK, killing their farmers, just ruining their KVK. And I even sent messages to everyone. I was like, "Hey, if you are part of the Corrupt Kings Alliance, you're at risk." And I told everyone just leave his alliances and you're safe. And nobody listened. And then once they get attacked, they get all pissed off. Like, why
It's
did you
like, "Oh
attack me?
no,
Like,
no, no. I'm not on their team. Don't zero
yeah,
my
like don't
farm."
you read your mail? Do you not know what's going on? They're just a bunch of farmers that just log in, collect their sculptures, send out their farmers. They might do a little bit in KVK, but basically they're just brain dead zombies in this kingdom and they don't even know what's going on. So I'm not the least bit worried about this kingdom. In fact, we're kind of at a point now where it's kind of just milking it for content. I mean, it's kind of comical at this point. um, I've said to people, I was like, dude, I kind of don't want to win, right? If I win and beat these guys, my channel's dead, right? My whole channel is based around being a rogue. If I win and I'm king, I'm going to have to rebrand and change everything, right? I have to be
That's right.
Big
Then you're
Piggy.
gonna have to actually rule and play KVK and be boring like the rest of us.
Yeah, what's the fun in that? And these guys are obliging and they're putting up a strong resistance. And today, I mean, I'm gonna make a video of what happened today. I kind of got wrecked. We put rallies on some cities, some flags, and we kind of got wrecked. I lost a ton of power. I lost 4 million on my junior account and about 6 million on my main account, maybe. It hurt, but hey, I can train that stuff back up. I mean,
Right. And you
This
still have all
game
your farms right
is
there, so you could just send res to yourself and be fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll be fine, and people are loving this, man. Like I get so many people messaging me, and I think the appeal is a lot of people are in the same boat as me, where they're just kind of getting tired of the game. It's kind of stale, and this is pretty refreshing and kind of brings you back to when the game was brand new. I don't know if
Yep.
you remember joining the game,
Rise
going
of
into KVK.
Civilizations in 2019.
Yes, it was so much fun. And before KVK even came around, and you're just trying to take over the kingdom, it really reminds me of that. And the first kingdom I was ever in, it was insane. I was in Kingdom 50, and we
What?
had some
Hold up,
whales.
hold up, hold up.
Yeah,
How old is your account?
2018.
Your account is older than mine. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been around a while. But Kingdom 50 was insane. In fact, our first KVK, we went up against Chisgule's Kingdom, Kingdom 51, and I was part of that KVK. But before KVK, our kingdom had a civil war, and I was on the side of the whales. There was like two whales. I can't remember their names. I think it was like Tiger and Shifty 55. Yeah, Shifty 55, and they were like the evil empire. I think was their name, and they were down to one CF, sitting on the edge of Lost Temple, and the enemy was just like all in, and it seemed like we would never win, and we came back and freaking won, and they took over the kingdom. Like it was the most epic moment. And it kind of reminds me of that all the odds are stacked against me right now. All I have is a bunch of people. They're very low power, 25 million less, trying to get more people on board. I'm really using YouTube as a platform to recruit people that want to come and participate, have fun. I don't care what power level people are. Yeah, man, I'm having so much fun. I'll be honest, the most fun I've ever had in this game.
Well, I think you're right cuz a lot of the time we get stuck in this kind of mundane, okay, KVK is over now, farm for a little while. And I think it's interesting cuz on one of my last videos people commented and they were like the game's dying. And I'm like, I don't know that the game is dying, but I think that there is definitely a stage in between KVKs where there's nothing to do, right? And gathering is boring, and maybe they have a Kerouac ceremony in there, or so you log in for 5 days. But beyond that, it gets really dry. And I think early in the game, there's a lot of excitement that goes on right before you get to KVK, right? There's all the different pass openings, there's battling, there's things like that. There's figuring out all the different territory. And they've tried to reintroduce that and expand it even more by restricting the number of starting provinces. So now it's only 3 instead of 6, and then they open sequentially. Um, but I think what you found here is that people are actually looking for excitement and for drama, and we never really hear the other side either, right? Because typically it's like, oh, this
Mhm.
asshole just stole Mightiest Governor. What are we gonna do? Like, we have to figure it out. But now we get to hear your side, which is like, well, I wasn't really planning to do it, but then I decided I would, and I can. And now watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's a lot of hard work actually. Like put in to win mightiest governor, especially if you're farm feeding. It's a lot of work, and man, it was not fun. And this dude just kept pushing. But yeah, in my mind, I'm like, I need him to stay with me, right? I want him to keep pushing. I didn't want to blow it out and make him think, oh, I have no shot. I'm going to quit.
Right.
Because then I've wasted that gap, right? I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to keep like only about 20 million ahead of him,
And
right?
that
Because
I'm
then he'll be
assuming
like,
is why he just swarmed your city.
uh, did he from my city?
Oh yeah, either that or you got him with AOE. He took. I'm looking at the
Oh,
report right now. He took at least. Oh, I don't know. Shappy's math is pretty terrible. Close to 80k dead just from standing there.
well, the Midas governor's over, but so that's not related to that. But he was just straight pushing. he was using his farms and farm feeding, but then he ran out of all his farms. So he had the kingdom helping him. He puts troops outside of his city and tells people, come attack my troops.
Right.
And
Hit
I
me
was
with
watching him. He
T4
was
or
getting,
something.
yeah, he was getting terrible trades. People were attacking his marches with like full T5 marches, just wrecking his marches. I'm like, dude, this guy's
Kingdom can't
burning
even
through so
feed
many speed
properly.
ups. No, they can't. And so I wanted to keep just 20 mil points ahead of him, just so he thinks, oh, I can pass him, I can pass him, and then he'll make a push, and he'll get close, and then I'll push another 20, and so and within the last hour, he was pushing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna unload the clip now, and I quickly popped it off to 480. And I was ready for training. Like if he was going to try, because you can train a ton in the last minute. And I was so ready for him to start training because I have so many training speed ups and I want to train up my cavalry. So I was ready for it and he didn't do it. So I was kind of bummed. Now I have all this
Oh.
training stuff saved up to steal the next mightiest governor. So
So is that your plan? Like, I guess my question is, so you're in this spot right now. You have your center fortress burning. Your farms are mostly drained. They just tried to zero you and failed. I think they're probably going to continue to fail. Do you have the highest kill points in the kingdom? Just out of curiosity.
I do.
Okay. So
I
they're
do.
not
But
fighters.
right.
So like, what's next? What's the game plan here? Are we taking over this kingdom? Are you gonna continue to cause terror, or what's the plan?
So it's a little tricky, right? So I'm pretty much all alone. So I got Kratos on my side now, and I have a few other tier 5 players, but they've pretty much just are zeroed accounts that wanted to join me because the asshole king zeroed them. So they've never been able to power up quite as much, but they have tier 5. So I have at most maybe 5 tier 5 players.
Right.
And that's not enough, right? And
No, I
yeah,
mean
all
you
these
you
tier
need
four
some. You
players.
need to get the you need to be able to get king for 5 minutes and just let a bunch of people in.
Yeah, and that's easier said than done, right? And a lot of what you're seeing now is planned. Like a lot of these fortresses will build them really quick, and then if I can't complete my objective that I was going for, then I'll just tear it down and go somewhere else. So
Mm-hmm.
my objective this time backfired. If you look, there's an Alliance 67J. I was going to burn their territory. 67J is has been a rogue alliance for the longest time. They never participate in KVK. All they do is sit there and farm. And
Okay.
the corrupt king would constantly visit them. He let them keep territory because they would constantly farm resources. And then from time to time, he would go in there, zero them, steal all their resources, and then leave and let them have their land.
This
It was
guy
it
sounds
was
like such a
genius, right?
sleazeball.
Yeah, and then but when I put this fort down this morning, I did not expect 67J allowed all these guys to join their alliance and fight me. I was
Right.
like, why would you let them fight you when they've been zeroing you for a year and a half? It doesn't make any sense. I didn't expect that to happen. So this fortress, I'm not going to defend it. It's pointless, right? We're outnumbered. I tried to zero some people today, but they were online. Like this batter guy.
Mm-hmm.
We did a really good rally on him, but he didn't even get any dead troops. Well, yeah, he did. He actually did get some dead troops, but it's more just like flexing our muscle when we can.
Yeah.
Like nobody's safe.
And I have that. I have that report. I don't have the report, but I have the recording of the rally, so I'll play it now so everyone can watch. I think so. So let me ask you a question. Let's say this video goes viral. Let's hope. If I got a bunch of people to migrate in 24 million power farms to come help you, would that work?
It would definitely help, but there's still a problem with that. What happens when I need to go to sleep or something?
Well,
I'm
I mean,
human,
bear in
right? They
mind though,
can.
you just have to get enough people in at the right time in order for you to capture that temple. Once you capture the temple, you can let whoever you want in.
Well, there was a video, I don't know if you saw it, but we tried to push into zone 3 and they rallied our fortress 3 times. We repelled them the first two, but then they destroyed it. So the time that it takes us, an hour and 15 minutes to build a CF. We have to defend the CF for that amount of time. And it's really difficult, especially with only my account's really providing field control, and then the 25 mil and less, their job is to keep the garrison filled.
Right.
So it's really difficult, man. And then once we're into zone 3, we'll have to build territory and go take over the temple and do all that. Like, they're putting up stiff resistance, man. These new people, the corrupt king is gone. These new people in here, they're crazy, man. They're online 24/7. I don't know if they're account sharing or what, or they just have no lives, but literally they're on all the time. And I test them too. Like, I'll try building at different times, and boom, as soon as I start building, they're scouting my building. I could do it at night. I could do it in the morning, in the middle of the day. Always, they're just online 20. They're obsessed with the piggies. They even changed their name
I
from
saw that.
X67 to
They're
the
they're the
Angry
Angry
Birds.
Birds now.
They're having more fun fighting us than we're probably even having. It's the whole kingdom has just turned into this bizarro world where it's a totally different game. So it's very unique, I think, and people are flocking to it because it's so much fun.
Oh yeah. Well, Piggy, this has been awesome. I'm so excited to see what happens next. If you guys haven't already, definitely go subscribe to Piggy. Go check out his channel. I'll drop a link in the description below. Piggy, let's keep in touch. I want to hear what happens here. Do you have any final words for the Shappy squad before I let you go?
Man, I really appreciate everyone. I had no idea when I started making this channel that this was going to blow up like this. I just kind of wanted to show, stealing some mightiest governors and this and that. And I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have out there. But man, I'm really floored with all the people that have come and messaged me and joined us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Piggy. On the count of three, we'll say the outro. 1, 2, 3. Shappy out.
Sheppy out.